Okay, so everybody in the Brand Aid Project group, welcome. This is actually the first time that we've done a Facebook Live interview, so there will be many mistakes, I'm sure. I will say all the wrong things, but we will get through. It will be fun. So I wanted to introduce you today to Ruth Dougal from Make Your Own Video.
Hi.
I got it right.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Hello,
So,
Nick. Thank you for having me.
no problem. It's great to have you as our very first guest. And you know what? I'm actually
I'm
super
honoured.
thrilled. I'm super thrilled because I believe you can bring some great value to the people of the group.
I hope
And
so.
I definitely wanted to get you on first so we could talk video. So why don't we start with just a brief intro into your business, what you do, and the experience in that industry?
Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah. So, as you said, Nick, I run Make Your Own Video Training Academy with a business partner, Glyn Allen. So personally, I've been a video producer for 20 years. And so over the last, I'd say about 5 years, I've been getting more inquiries from I'd say the smaller of the small businesses who want to use video. They're seeing so much more video on social media and they want to use it, but then I'm talking to them, I'm giving them quotes to make videos for them, and then I found some of them are saying it's a bit too expensive, especially if I want to do videos all the time. And they've got a point. So I kind of had a couple of choices really, that I could reduce my prices to make video for them, but I didn't really want to do that because I think it devalues the work that we do as video producers, and also devalues the 20 years of experience that I've got in making videos. And so my other choice was I could teach them how to do it themselves using using smartphones and tablets, because we've got the technology that we need to do it really. And actually for short social videos, it's really important to be agile, because you might want to do a quick update on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And also, longevity on social media can be fairly short. The shelf life of video can be short. You can repurpose, and we'll talk about that, I think, a bit later. But still, it's like turning on a tap. Social media is like turning on a tap. And so hiring a video production company for just the odd social video is can be like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. So it's not necessary. And there are a lot of small businesses and sole traders who are making their own videos without any training, it's great to see people having a go. But what just frustrates me is with just a little bit of training in production techniques, they can pay attention to that detail that makes a difference between a kind of a DIY video and something that is really brand worthy, that just looks and sounds a lot more professional. So I guess that's why I do what I do. I just want to help people just make those little tweaks and improve what they do and be brand worthy, basically.
Yeah. Great. So obviously there's a lot of synergy between what you do and what we do. We've done video in the past for our clients, and we know how difficult it can be for a business to have the confidence to do a video, and then when they decide that they are confident enough to do one, especially if they're in camera, then they need to work out whether it's something that they do on their own by themselves, or fork out the budget to take on a professional to do. But which leads nicely really onto the whole video topic. Why do you think video is important, especially now, for a business and its brand?
Well, I think it's now more important than ever, and I think there are two main sort of things and things that make it so important. And one of them is, you know, the whole COVID pandemic has just proved to us that having a digital presence is absolutely vital if we want to survive. And I think that video is actually, well, the crucial, I would say that, but the crucial element of having a digital presence. I suppose mostly because of the priority that social platforms give to it. So I think if you're not doing it, you know, yes, you might have a social media presence and that might be working really well for you, which is great. But I think, you know, adding video to it, it can only enhance your presence, really, just because most of the channels, most of the platforms have a video first approach, and they have done for quite some time. So, you know, they prioritize video over other content, and mostly because it keeps people on platforms longer, and so they can throw more advertising at them. So, and also, you know, video, if it's well made and it's relevant to your target audience, then it's highly shareable.
Yeah, of course it is. And you can see that the way Facebook have almost built this environment within their Facebook platform itself, all around the video, and how, and you watch one video and you end up watching 3 or 4 afterwards as it is on a show reel.
Absolutely, yeah. They're, you know, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, Mark Zuckerberg said, you know, that it's going to be video first. So, you know, we've seen that coming for a long time. So yeah.
One of the main reasons why I wanted to get you to talk to me and obviously the group is I struggled right at the very beginning when I first started dabbling with video. I was terrified. I mean, the fact that I'm doing Facebook Live now is just so much of a contrast to where I've come from. And
well done.
Yeah, thank you.
See, you're living proof that it's possible to overcome this fear.
It is, yeah, so that is exactly it. And what I wanted, I'd hope that people, you know, will tune into this now or later on, because they will want that reassurance from an expert who knows how to do good video for social media and for their business, such as you. What tips can you give them to come over to overcome the fear of, and it's sheer terror?
Yes.
You know, and a lot of people will suffer from it. So what advice can you give to stop this barrier?
Well, so from my experience, I'd say the fear falls into 3 categories, really. There are 3 main things that people are really scared of. The first one is physically seeing themselves on camera and you know, being in front of the camera and speaking in front of the camera. The second is fear of technology and you know, having a go themselves. And the third is fear of not knowing what to say. And so let's just take the, you know, sheer terror of being on camera first. I mean, what I would say is that if you really believe that video is going to be a really useful tool for you in terms of marketing and promoting your business, then that fear is just something you're just going to have to get over. And you can do it in kind of baby steps, I would say. So in my experience, people who are terrified of being on camera are also the same people who hate having their photos taken, and they hate the sound of their recorded voice. So working backwards from that, I would take it in those steps. So take your phone, open the voice memo recorder and record yourself speaking. Doesn't matter what you say, just record a bit of yourself speaking and then play it back. You'll hate it, you'll cringe, because recorded voice sounds different from the way you hear yourself speaking. And then the first thing people say is, oh my God, do I really sound like that to other people? You know, and then, you know, you have to kind of say, well, actually, yes, but it's not the way that you hear yourself speaking. So you know, it's perfectly normal to everybody else.
Yeah.
It sounds perfectly normal to everybody else, and you just have to believe that. And so really it's just about kind of repetition. Just do it over and over again. Delete the files, you know, if you can't stand listening to them. But it, you know, at kind of at the least, what you're trying to do is get to a point of tolerating the sound of your recorded voice, and at the best is actually getting to like it. And of course, the more you do it, the more you'll grow in confidence anyway. So that's the first step. I should have said, I kind of call it the voice, vision, video steps. So the next step is vision. So taking photos of yourself, ideally not as a selfie, because you're kind of too close to it. But you know, ideally set your camera on set your phone on a tripod and use the self timer and stand a little bit away. So you're just getting used to taking a picture of yourself and then looking back at it and not being critical. That's the point here. When when we're terrified and we look back on ourselves, A, we can't even stand to look back on ourselves in the first place, but B, we start to pick out the things that we hate about ourselves, and it is not things that other people notice. And so, you know, really flip that and start looking at the things that you like about yourself and focus on that instead. And then you know, and then once you feel more comfortable doing that, then start recording yourself. And again, these are all test things that you can delete as soon as you've seen them, but it's all about becoming familiar with that whole process, and, you know, at the least tolerating it, at the best actually starting to enjoy it. Yeah. Then just talking a little bit about the fear of tech. You know, people might be thinking, well, I want to do video, but okay, maybe I can't afford to hire a production company for all the videos I want to make, so I want to have a go myself, but what do I use? You know, what kit do I use? There's so many cameras out there. What on earth do I use? And then the editing side of things, you know, that just is bewildering. So, you know, there's that saying, isn't there, that the best camera to use is the one that you have. So use your phone. Yeah. You know, and people will say, well, you know, surely a mobile phone can't shoot professional videos. Well, you know, most phones now have got 4K. They shoot 4K. That's like really high quality video, higher quality than you need for social media. They can shoot professional looking videos, but it's about whether you can.
Well,
you know,
isn't it? It's the you might have the tools, but you probably have no idea on
exactly. And so the training will get you over that, and you know, learning how to shoot and edit will get you over that, and it can be really simple.
So what recommended steps would you offer to people who are preparing to do the video? I mean, you do get some people who like rock up, first take, done, boom, gone. And then there are other people that will spend 4 or 5 hours out of their day just to record a 10-minute little snippet.
Yeah. So, okay. The first thing you should do is start with the end in mind. By that, I mean, think about, what are you making this video for, and who are you making it for, and where are you going to put it? Yeah. Because once you've nailed all those things, pretty much everything else will become clear. So, you know, it determines everything about your video. So from the way you hold the camera, the way you position the camera, what you say in it, the length of it, and the style of it. So, you know, start at the end and work backwards, and invest in a few basic bits of kit. So when I'm training people how to make videos, I suggest that they get a basic tripod. You need a mount that attaches your device to the tripod, so you'll get a different mount depending on whether you're going to use a phone or a tablet. And get a microphone. Definitely get a microphone. You can actually get these from our website, which I think we might give you at the end And they're all from our kind of Amazon affiliate shop. So, but they're really inexpensive, and those few bits of kit can make all the difference between, you know, a kind of a really kind of amateurish looking video to something that is a lot more brand worthy. And then just some other basics, like find a quiet space to film in. Turn your phone to airplane mode so you don't get distracting alerts while you're filming. Make sure it's fully charged before you start. Make sure you've got a good source of light, and that the light is either to the side of you or in front of you rather than behind you, because then you just become a silhouette. So just some really, really simple steps like that, really. And I've done a little cheat sheet actually,
Okay.
that I can give to people. And in fact, we've done a free course just to help people get started, and you get the cheat sheet within that free course. So you know, just to help people get started.
Yeah, and obviously we'll put those details in the group as well, so
Great.
take advantage of that. Everybody loves a freebie.
Of course.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, we've up to this point we've spoken about the user or the person making the video for themselves, rather than employing a production company, for example.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Can you, just off the top of your head, can you think of any apps that are out there that might make it easier to produce a video?
Yes, there aren't loads. There are actually a bewildering array of apps, and we at Make Your Own, we do try and keep up to, you know, keep on top of all these new apps.
I guess I should. I'm going to butt in again. Sorry, but
yeah.
What I've just this second thought of was, are apps, you know, are they any good really? Because you've got the native. Just because there is an app available doesn't mean somebody should say it's better than what is already on the phone as a native video recorder. So I guess, is it even worth exploring all these apps? That's basically a trade-off.
So the answer is yes, but also start with what's in your phone. So when we teach, we just teach with the native camera app that comes with a phone, which is, you know, plenty good enough. You can buy third-party apps. There's a really good one called Filmic Pro, which movies have been shot on. Movies and documentaries have been shot using Filmic Pro, but it can be just overcomplicated. And what we've tried to do at the Academy is just simplify everything, just so that we at least take away that fear of tech, and just make everything as simple as possible. So, you know, with the third-party camera apps, what you get is a bit more control over, you know, the exposure, your lighting, the focus, perhaps the monitoring of the audio as well. But quite frankly, if you've never made your own videos before and you want to start doing it, all of those things are just going to overwhelm you, and you just want to focus on the basics. So, you know, we just say use the camera app that's in your phone. It's plenty good enough. In terms of editing apps, if you're using an Apple device, then you've got iMovie, which is great. We teach with an app called KineMaster, because it works on both Apple and Android platforms, so we can just teach with the one app. And I think it's, I mean, you know, you can do a comparison, but I like KineMaster. I use both for, you know, depending on what device I'm using. But actually, KineMaster does give you a bit more flexibility, actually, over some of the things you can do. Like for example, and this is important for branding. It allows you to bring in PNGs. you can bring in a logo without a background and overlay it over your video, which you can't do in iMovie, or at least you couldn't before. I don't know whether they've updated that, but so that's quite an important thing in terms of branding.
Yeah.
And then there are some, I mean, there are loads of others, but in terms of editing, the way we teach through the academy, we teach people how to do a master footage, a master clip, and then shoot supplementary footage that can be kind of overlaid over what you're saying. And so for that reason, you need to find an app that's got a multi-track editor. And some of the free apps, they only allow you to have one layer of video. So, sorry, my kids were leaving the house then.
Okay.
Summer holidays. So, you know, we wouldn't necessarily recommend all of the editing apps out there because they don't do that. They're not functional for the way that we teach. So yeah, but then there are things like, you know, there's a great little app called Lumen 5, which is great for doing some nice little animated videos and titles that you can add into your videos. And do you know, I really love Canva. Canva is, you know, a great graphic design app that you probably hate because, you know, people are using it instead of using you.
Yeah,
but they've started to do video templates as well, and you can do some really nice little title sequences in Canva, and then import those into your videos as well. And one of the important things is subtitling, especially for social media, because a lot of the time videos play without sound. So it's really important to subtitle. And there's an app called Veed.io, which I think is a I don't know whether there's a mobile version of the app or whether it's just desktop, but it's brilliant because it transcribes your video and adds captions as well. And so some of the social channels will transcribe your video, like Facebook does, YouTube does. I think there's another one that does. And so you can, you know, it adds the captions on the bottom. But some of the others don't, and so then you need to think about adding them in before you upload them to social media.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm sort of
there's a lot of great tips that you've just given there in quite a condensed time, and I think going back to the fear of what people struggle with is. Leads me on to the next question, which is what kinds of video work well for getting that engagement on social media? Because I imagine I did it myself. A lot of people probably think, well, who wants to listen to me talk to a camera? Who wants to watch me, you know, just spout off for 5-10 minutes? Obviously, there are different ways to do video, but from your perspective, what advice could you give to people that really want to try and maximize that engagement?
Well, I think that anything emotional is a winner. So whether that's humour or things that tug at the heartstrings. So I think if you can, to really maximise your video content, if you can add some humour into it and or be really, you know, genuinely authentic and heartfelt, you know, I think that always really works, because emotions are what drives us. You know, we are emotional beings and we make decisions based on feelings. Ultimately, you know, we can run through the logic of stuff to our heart's content, to our head's content, but actually the ultimate decisions on things are made with, you know, with our emotions. And so if you can do anything that adds humor or any kind of emotion, then I think, you know, that's great. But not only that, you know, there are other things that I've seen that do really, really well. In my experience, doing kind of explainer videos where you've got a kind of a chalkboard or a whiteboard behind you, and you're actually writing stuff at the same time, or you've pre-written some of it and then you're adding stuff to it. Sorry, my dog.
Well, we've just added some humour into this video.
She's actually smaller than she sounds.
It sounded like you've got a monster in there.
She's tiny. She's like just a bit bigger than a Jack Russell. I'm really sorry.
The joys of home working.
I know.
My kids will come and play on the trampoline in a minute.
I think we're kind of all getting used to that kind of authenticity, aren't we? Through working from home. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, yeah. So those chalkboard videos work really well, and then user-generated content I think works well. So if you're, if you kind of set a challenge to your customers or your clients, whatever, to like, make a video about this, or how do you use this product that I'm selling, get people to make stuff for you, and perhaps edit that together, or just give them a spotlight, and behind the scenes as well. Always behind the scenes videos always work quite well, because we're all kind of intrinsically nosy, aren't we? We all want to feel like we've got the backstage pass, and actually it helps people get under the skin of a business, which really helps, especially if now we're dealing with people more online than we were in person. So I think those kind of things are all great ways to get engagement, and live videos as well.
Okay, exactly. So that's a great lead into the next topic that I wanted to talk about, so we're live streaming right now, and live stream seems to be the in thing at the moment, and all of the super cool people do it, so well done to me and you. But the pros and cons to live streaming and pre-recorded for somebody that doesn't do a lot of social media, they might not even know what the difference is, and what are the benefits.
Yeah, and I don't actually think it's a case of pros and cons. I think both are great, and doing both is great for generating interest in different ways. I think, so many more people are doing live videos now, because it's great for creating a sense of buzz and urgency and immediacy, and then interacting with people as well during the live. So I don't know if
I imagine
people have the opportunity to ask questions and stuff, so it's more interactive, and you can mop up a different audience as well. You can increase your reach by doing both pre-recorded or video on demand and live streaming, and then of course your live videos become video on demand because they're automatically recorded by the platform that you're doing them on. I suppose the only thing about that is that live videos might possibly be that their longevity might not be as long as pre-recorded videos, because you might say something topical during a live, and you would probably be more careful not to do that with a pre-recorded video so that it lasts longer. And in a funny kind of way, I think lives are a really good way of going back to the whole confidence thing, of increasing and improving your confidence, because it's like you just throw yourself in there and you've just got to do it. So it's almost like a really good practice for actually doing your pre-recorded videos.
You make the mistakes. You can't go and undo them. You just have to keep moving forward, don't you?
You do. And actually people are more forgiving as well. And I think people quite like a bit of a blooper as well. Like my dog barking.
So when people create videos, whether they do them themselves or they have them done by a third party or another production company, how do you make the most of the final cut when it's done? People will probably just dump it on social media or their website and think just once is enough. Can they be repurposed? Should you use them over and over, is it?
Yeah, definitely. So once is not enough. Like I said earlier, social media is like turning a tap on. If you've missed that little bit of water that comes out, then it's gone. So actually you can reshare them, over periods of time. You can reshare the same video, because it doesn't even matter if the same person sees it again, if it means new people are going to see it. So yeah, definitely. But I think the key to this is perhaps one message per video, in the short videos anyway, so that you can use them on different platforms and see which message works best on which platform. Because there's got to be a big element of test and measure with any marketing activity. You've got to test and measure it. There is no blueprint for making a really a video that's going to go viral. There is no blueprint, because it very much depends on what you do, who your audience is, what your aim is. So test and measure is the absolute key. And so if you're delivering one message and then testing it, then at least you can eliminate that it's not the message that needs changing, but maybe the platform. And then you should certainly vary the length and the aspect ratio for different platforms as well. So I mean, I've created I created a guide to video on social media. Now I know that if I hold this up, it's going to disappear partly, but what I've done is it's for like the top 6 kind of social channels, and it just gives you all the details about things like optimum length, whether it has a caption generator, what's counted as a view, does it default to muted, can it do live video, but all those kind of things. So it's kind of a handy chart, and I can let people have that as well.
So yeah, that sounds like a great little tool to have, because
yeah, I mean, it needs updating. The thing is, it's got to be updated, because as you know, social platforms change all the time, and so I think I updated that back in January, and it already needs updating. So the thing is to just keep on top of all that yourself, and know what is the optimum length for different platforms. And so I think that's that's the key, is trying out different lengths on different platforms. But the other thing is, you can get overwhelmed with content. Everyone's saying to you, content is king, and you've got to churn out content all the time. You've got to be writing blog posts, you've got to be doing memes, you've got to be doing quotes on nice images and all the time, and making videos, of course, all the time, and it can be absolutely exhausting. So I think that the key is to be strategic about it on social media, and then I think on your website, I think videos can have more longevity on your website, but I wouldn't forget about them either. I think for SEO purposes, you should refresh your website videos fairly regularly as well. I don't know what regularly is. It could be different for different businesses, but just to refresh them, as much as you can.
Okay, great. The one thing that I do find that's happened to, I think it happens to everybody, once they decide they're going to up their game with video and just social media in general, they'll get an idea as to what they want to do for maybe the first week or 2, and they'll do it, and the first week feels really great, but then they've exhausted themselves because they hammered it for such a short, intense period, and they've run out of ideas.
Yeah.
So that leads on to if then they think, oh well, what do we do now? that can become quite disheartening.
Yes.
Especially if they've done it and they've maybe not got the engagement that they wanted, and they put all their effort into it. So, it's important that you have something like a content a strategy or a schedule plan in place first.
It is. You're absolutely right. It is, and it can be completely exhausting and completely demoralizing. And I actually speak from experience as well, with this. But I think the key is to try and make it as simple for yourself as possible. And so, for example, you might want to pick a theme every week or every month and come up with a content plan based on that. And so then you might want to create one kind of key piece of content, one kind of key piece of thought leadership content, which might be it might be a Q&A, or it might be, just kind of sharing your knowledge or experience about a certain thing based on a theme. And then what you can do with that is create smaller pieces of splinter content from it.
Yeah.
And then what that means is you can schedule in 1 or 2 days a month, that's all, to create that stuff. If you know what your theme is for the week or the month, then you just need to basically set yourself aside a couple of days a month to create that content. And again, think about the begin with the end in mind. So think about how you could split it up before you actually start filming it. And then, film with that in mind. So you might film it in smaller chunks, that you could run it all together as one big piece that you can put on a blog and put on YouTube and, share on your website. And then you can take smaller chunks off it that you can then schedule into your content plan throughout that month. So, that's one way of doing it. And if you have a marketing strategy already, then, you're going to want to tie it in with that, tie your video content in with that anyway. And also try translating content that you've already shared as text, maybe, into video format, and see whether it attracts a new audience. But again, it's all about test and measure. See what works, see what doesn't, see what length is good, see what style is good, see what message is good. It's all about, and the thing to really keep in mind here is you won't get immediate returns. And if you do, then fair play to you. But don't assume all of your videos are going to get like amazing views and amazing shares. But it can take time. It can take quite a long time, a good few months to build up, your reach and your likes and your interaction and your engagement. So stick at it and don't get disheartened. But the key to it all is making it as simple as possible, so you don't get overwhelmed with it.
Amazing. Those are some really, really great pieces of advice there, and the tips on all of the things video related.
Oh, can I add something else before we? I know I'm just keeping.
Yeah, what I was going to say before we wrap up, obviously you've taken the time out to be here this afternoon, and I really appreciate that, because you being the first one for the Brand Aid Project Lives. So I think it's only fair that we let you plug Make Your Own Video. So if there is anything else that you want to add, then knock yourself out. Now's the time.
Yes, I was going to add something that wasn't a plug, actually. I was going to say, please can I plug before I leave? I was going to talk just very briefly about the whole, do you hire the pros, or do you make your own? Because it can be like really difficult to work out whether you do that, whether you do one or the other. And what I would say to that is do both. There are, learning how to make your own will not necessarily replace the need to hire a professional production company if, for example, you know, you want a really slick, you know, flagship video for your homepage, or you're doing a pitch, you know, for a lot of funding, or you're doing you know, you're doing a presentation, then I would definitely still hire the pros. And there are things that they can do, and live events as well. If I know nobody's doing events at the moment, but if you want events filming, I would really I would discourage people from doing those themselves, because you've only got one chance to get it right. And if you've only just learned how to do it, you know, there's a lot of room for error. And it's going to cause you the most amount of anxiety. So get the pros in, because they know what they're doing. They've done this before lots and lots of times.
That's really true. We do a lot of event videos for some of our clients, and we've worked with video production companies during the day. But they are some of the best days of my career that I've had. Right. Being up, you know, surrounded by the moment and the emotion of the event and things like that, really is great.
Yeah, I mean, I would say actually, if you've got a big event, there's, even within that, there's room for both. You know, getting the professionals to do the kind of the live stuff, and you can do behind the scenes stuff with your phone.
Yeah,
you know, and do little vox pops with people. You know, just for your social feeds, and it's really instant. And so even then there's room for both. And again, in my free course, actually, I've got a checklist, which is the A to H of whether to make your own or hire the pros. And it just takes you through a bit of a check, you know, with kind of yes no questions, so to help you work out whether, you know, if you've got an idea for a video, should you have a go at making your own or call the professionals? And, you know, for a lot of videos, you can have a go at making your own if you know, if it can be done simply, if you don't need any specialist equipment, if you can film during daylight hours, you don't need any special lighting. You know, you're not filming a panel discussion or a round table. Always get the pros to do that, because everybody needs to be mic'd. So, you know, just that kind of thing. You know, there are things that you should not tackle, and you should just get the pros in. It will save you a lot of heartache and probably money in the end as well by getting the pros in. And so yeah, you know, there's room for both. Definitely room for both. And then and then if you want to learn how to make videos, then you can, you know, talk to me. So yeah, like I mentioned, the free course, which is, we can put this in the comments afterwards, I suppose, but so the website is myovdo.com, and then the free course is /better video, because the course is called How to Get Better at Video. And that just helps you get started. It helps you start thinking video, really. You know, we've got the kind of the, you know, exercise to help you boost your confidence, one that helps you work out who your target audience is, and then we've got the kind of the cheat sheet in there for getting started with making video yourself. And then behind me, you can see a pile of books, hopefully.
Yeah, we can see those.
We've got a handbook, so you can get a handbook as well, and we've got a full online course as well. So yeah.
Excellent. And now, of course, the whole world is flooding to the digital stage. So I imagine you're going to be a very busy girl for the next few months.
Well, I do hope so.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us, because I really do think that the people that watch this will undoubtedly have gotten some value from it to take forward. And you know, maybe some of those will even get in touch with you on how to boost their business with video. So yeah, thank you, Ruth. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Nick.
No problem. And no doubt we'll bump into each other again on the networking scene somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and then we'll have a coffee in person when we can.
Back in the real world. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, you have a great afternoon and a lovely weekend.
Thank you. And
okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.